mean, there's cherries and then there's berries, but watermelon, it's it. We always have watermelon at our house. Hey, David. Hey, hi, guys. Aaron. What's going on? Douglas, what's going on, you guys? Okay, so watermelon, it's awesome. It's light. It is an anti-inflammatory fruit. Has electrolytes in it. Has vitamin A. It has vitamin C in it. It is awesome. So I want to talk about it. I wish I thought about this before I cut my watermelon, but I have a little bit left. So we're going to talk about the five ways to pick the best watermelon. First thing you want to do is pick up watermelons. A good watermelon is going to be heavy for its size, so it's going to feel very dense. So when you pick it up, you're going to want to make sure it's nice and dense. You're going to look for a yellow spot. This one doesn't really have it because I cut it off. But you're going to look for a solid yellow spot, probably a little brown on there too. That means the watermelon sat and grew in one spot. It wasn't moved around. It just had one place that it grew. So that's a good sign. You also want to look for little spider veins in there, brown spots, sometimes black spots. They're actually called, what are they called? I wrote it down somewhere. Spider veins, whispers. They're actually called whispers, and that's kind of where it's been pollinated. It also means that it's very sweet, and it might have that extra sweet flavor, and it's going to be also very watery. You also want to make sure it's consistent in form. You don't want it funky shaped. When it's funky shaped, it usually means that it didn't get enough sun, or it got inconsistent sun and inconsistent water. So you want it to be either round or oval. Either one, it doesn't really matter, as long as it's consistent in shape. You don't want any funky, odd alien looking watermelon. You also want to tap it and make sure that it sounds hollow. When it sounds hollow, it usually means that it's full of water and it's nice and sweet. When it sounds dull, when you hit it and it kind of goes thud, it's overripe and it's starting to spoil. So those are your 5 tips. Pick it up for size. Make sure that it is heavy for its size. It feels nice and dense. Look for the yellow spot. Good size yellow spot means it was sitting in one spot during its whole growing period. The little spider veins. Oh my God, because it's cold in my house. It's cold in my house, Cindy. That's what. It's not a sweater, it's a jacket. Okay, and then you're going to look for a consistent size, and you're also going to tap it and make sure it sounds hollow. Okay, so a couple things about watermelons. How do you eat your watermelon? Let's hear it. How do you eat your watermelon? Do you cut it in triangles and just eat it in a triangle? This is how we always did it at my house. We always had triangles. Sometimes put it in a bowl and just eat it with a spoon. Or do you like to make like watermelon sticks? This is typically how we do it now. I mean, we literally probably go through a whole watermelon a day at our house. We power through watermelons. Oh yes, one more thing about when you're picking it. You want to make sure, I don't know if you can see this, that where the stem was attached to the vine, you want that brown. If it's green, it means it was picked prematurely. So you want to make sure that is brown, and that means it's probably been picked right on time. You can keep a watermelon in your fridge for 2 to 3 days as long as it's sealed and it has a cover. You don't want to just leave it out in the air because otherwise it will lose its water, lose its hydration. And did you know you can freeze watermelon? I did not know that. I learned that today, that you can freeze watermelon, put it on a tray, not into chunks, just lay it flat on a tray into slices, and then you can freeze it and it'll hold up to 6 months. And the things that you can do with your watermelon when it's frozen, you can make sorbet, you could make popsicles, and cocktails. So you can always make cocktails. Okay, so question, do you salt your watermelon? Hey, Cindy, how are you? Okay, let's hear it, you guys. Do you salt your watermelon? Okay, we use Himalayan sea salt on our watermelon all the time. Everyone in my family does it. It's delicious. It makes it kind of brings out the sweet. Actually, a watermelon has your 3 different flavors. Has your sweet, and sour, and your bitter. If you add the salt, it kind of pulls out the sweetness. And the other thing that we do is I use this Trader Joe's chili lime. Okay, this is my favorite. Cindy, come on. Chili lime. I know that there's the real stuff. This is like the Trader Joe's Americanized version of it. But oh my gosh, it is so good. It is just the right amount of salt and heat and lime. This is delicious. This is delicious. And the other thing we'll do sometimes is sprinkle a little bit of cayenne on there. Again, it just pulls out the sweet, just a tiny bit, not too much. So that's it. That's my watermelon chat for the day. I don't know. I think that's it. Watermelon